So we're going to place the sit civil cell, and the reference element required is actually a top of wall line profile. It represents the top inside edge of wall. So top of wall inside profile. I've got that here. I'll grab that. You see the direction of the reference there. This geometry looks good, so I'm going to reset, then accept this cell. Let's go ahead and go through some edits. I'm going to turn construction class off. And then I think the first couple levels I'm going to talk about, this cell actually has, and several of these military cells have points in them, and they're really meant for, I think, to be able to use those points for stakeout. You can kind of see where they're located now. There's an issue with the software right now where an elevation won't hold up in the civil cell. Elevation on a point will not hold up in the civil cell. So I think you could come in here and just assign an elevation after it's placed. But I'm gonna go ahead, and that's about all I'm gonna talk about as far as those points. They're just meant to identify the location of the inside edge of the wall. And I'm going to go ahead and turn those off. And then let's go over a few edits here. So that particular, the reference element, where is it at, right? It's kind of sitting up under some of these elements of the cell. So it's actually right there. I kind of wish I'd called it reference, but I didn't here. But that's the reference element that the cell was placed on. You can see where that's at. It represents, again, the top of the wall inside. It's got a profile. You want to profile that before you place the cell. And then let's go over a few more edits here. So off of that, obviously we're just creating an element right on top of that in this cell, which is right there. It's a complex there. But we'll talk about that one a little bit more maybe later. But I want to go ahead and mention vertical. I'm not going to mention a lot of vertical right now, but off of this wall, we're actually creating it's this revetment 32. So this is an element that's offset 200 off of that top of wall towards the inside, and it actually represents the bottom of the wall. And so the vertical aspect of this is, so if you wanted to change the wall depth here, you would grab this element right there, and you can see that vertical offset negative 1.5. And we're really offsetting this 200 because, in a proposed terrain model, you generally don't need can't really have a vertical edge. So that's kind of why that element's been offset there. All right. So a few more edits here. This element, so this element right there, that would control this offset of the concrete wall. It's a half a foot there. I doubt that would change. And then we've got a timber back here. If you right click, you can grab the timber offset element to change the width of that timber. And then I'm going to grab this element right here, which actually controls really that top of berm offset. I think that's what it's called. Berm offset right control. And so if I want to make this wider, I'll just make an edit here. I'll make this 6 feet. and that line just to the south of that should go with it, right? This one right here, because of that snap there. So this element controls that width there. And obviously this side right there would control the width on that side. So I'll just make those couple edits. All right, and then as far as this berm width, I guess is what it's called. You grab the berm width control, and if you wanted to change that to -12, you could get there and do that. All right, and so going back the other way, and also I think I'll go ahead and mention this, when I grab that element, notice that slope there of -2%. Okay, so that's where you would change the slope if you want something different than that -2%. You can notice that 12 feet off of the outside of the wall too. So if you wanted it 10 feet off the inside, you'd need to make that 9.5 or 10.5, right? Okay. So going going forward with more edits here. So I'm going to grab this element here next. So that controls this the length of this wall here. So if I want to make that 6 feet, I can hit enter and that should change that concrete there. And then this element right here, I grab that, that's change that. That should change our gravel area there. All right, any other, there could be some edits I'm missing here, but that's pretty much it for the geometry edits. We actually are building we have a surface terrain here that's just doing this grading. We've actually, this element right here is a complex element there. I guess one other edit, if you wanted to change that radius, those radius values, you could grab that element and change those radius values there. Again, the offsets control that value there. And then we just, so this is the a terrain with the surface template applied, and kind of see that shape there. And then we also have just a 3-to-1. If I turn construction class back on, we actually have a linear template here. That's just if I looked at that template, it's just a 3-to-1 slope. You could edit that template and make adjustments there. Another thing you may want to do here, so I'm just kind of take a peek at the name. So that template's called Revetment 51. May not be the best name there. Maybe it should be like Barn Top or something like that. I don't know. May not change that, but I may. And then also we've got another linear template here called Revetment 23. So Revetment 23 and Revetment 51. And that's obviously those templates are coming out, that's what the elements they're placed on their name, right? That's the Revetment 51. That's where the templates give the name. But so we've got a little overlap right down here. And so what I would do to kind of clean up that overlap would be I would come in and define target aliasing and click on this one. It'll take a second, but that'll bring up the target aliasing dialog. And then I would target that Revetment 23 linear template and the existing ground. So I'll come down and grab that Revetment 23. Sorry, it must have been the 32. I think it was the 23, wasn't it? Yeah. So I believe it's that one. So I'm going to click Add. And then I'm going to scroll back up and grab the existing ground. I'm going to hit apply. And that should have kind of clipped that there. And then now I want to clip this by that, right? So I'm going to come in and do add clipping reference. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to add, not the civil cell, I'm going to have to right click to grab the linear template there, and then reset, and that clipped that thing there. All right, so we've cleaned up that overlap of those slopes there by applying targeting this and targeting that, and then we clip this by choosing that as a clipping reference. All right, and then basically I do the same thing over here, right? I'm going to do the same thing over there. The last thing I'm going to talk about is a couple of vertical edits that I hadn't been over. So if we grab this element right here, if you'll scroll down, I am going to change its name here, right, to vertical floor control or something like that. It's called C Buildings 5 right now, but I'm going to change that name to, like, I think vertical floor control will go with. But you can see the slope. You kind of have to dig to get to that one, right? This is a complex element. And so once you select the walled in control, if you'll scroll down and choose the that vertical control, floor vertical control element, again, I'm going to rename that. That's where you can change that slope of that there. And then if you come back here and grab that element right there, this one. So again, it's a part of a complex, which was what the case of this up here. You can see that element there, and I'll probably name that gravel vertical control. So you do have to dig. Those elements are in complexes, so you do have to dig into or kind of dive down into those elements there, and then there. And again, I'm going to rename those, but to get to those slopes. All right, so that's an overview of the placement edits of this sit cell. And that will also apply to WSIT. There's really no differences between those two cells.